In today's show, Ray Perkel explores music within Judaism. We reflect on the life of opera singer Heather Blumental and meet with Danny Kay, one of the founding members of Shout. In an interview, Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sacks said that the history of the Jewish spirit is written in its songs. The words do not change, but each generation needs its own melodies. Rabbi Sacks adds, our generation needs new songs so that we too can sing joyously to God as our ancestors did at that moment of transfiguration when they crossed the Red Sea and emerged on the other side, free at last. Ray Perkel elaborates further.
For me, what's special about music is the relationship that we can discern and we can experience between two things, between the individual parts and the whole that those parts make up. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks said a very beautiful point about music, is that when we experience a melody, if you freeze that melody in time, you're focusing your attention on one note, but that's not a melody. The beauty about that note is the relationship that it has with the note that came before it, and the relationship that it has with the notes that come after it. Then you have a melody. The note on its own is not music. Music is that part in relationship to all the other parts, so that the idea of a harmonious whole comprised of individual parts in beautiful, well-considered, harmonious relationship with each other, that's the specialness about music. Now, music is something that features very prominently in Judaism. What's quite fascinating to see is that you can actually detect the significance of music and the relevance of music right from the beginning of creation. The Hebrew word for in the beginning, which the opening word of the book of Genesis, is the word Bereshit. Now, if you rearrange the letters that spell Bereshit, you can discern the presence of two other words, Ta'ev Shir, desire for song. The implication is, and this comes from one of the Hasidic Rebbes, is that when God created the universe, his purpose in creating it was because he desired song. He wanted an entity, he wanted an existence, a universe to exist in harmony so that it sings as a harmonious whole. The notion of derech eretz, which is typically translated, paraphrased as good behavior, ethical behavior, I think a lot of people get fixated on me being a good person, me being behaving correctly. But I think what's far more important, and this is where the model of music is so eloquent, is that it's about correct relationship. It's not about my perfection. It's about my impact, my contribution. Another idea that comes from music for me, if you look at King David, if you look at the very last of the collection of Psalms in the book of Psalms, Psalm 150, you'll notice a list of musical instruments. But what's fascinating about that list of musical instruments is there's a horn, there's flutes, there's stringed instruments, there's percussion instruments. Right in the middle of that list of instruments is something called a machol in Hebrew. So what's a machol? A machol is the Hebrew word for a circular dance. Everybody knows that Jews dance in circles. So wait a second, that doesn't make sense. What's a dance doing amongst a list of musical instruments? For me, the lesson is very beautiful. The response to the music is also an instrument. In other words, we're talking again about relationship, about impact. Whatever we do is about enhancing the experience of the world around us, of others around us. And that's what we're expected. That's what God created us to be.